You're watching Reality Check. In Jammu and Kashmir's lockdown, it has come to this. A law that is commonly used against stone pelters and separatists has been used against a former Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir. The government today disclosed that Farooq Abdullah has been detained under the stringent Public Safety Act. Now, under this act, you can be put away from anywhere between 3 months to 2 years without trial. The charges under this act can range from threatening the security of the state to threatening the maintenance of public order. Now, we are not here to defend Mr. Abdullah's record as a politician, but the question that the government must address tonight is why is this man considered a public security threat? He's 83 years old, he's a 6-time member of parliament, he's a 3-time chief minister. He has repeatedly condemned every single major terrorist attack. He described, for instance, the Pulwama attack as dastardly and brutal. He has also reminded us time and again that he was actually against the release of the terrorists in exchange for the IC-814 hostages, terrorists like Masood Azhar. He certainly didn't appear to be a public safety threat at this meeting with the Prime Minister just 4 days before the scrapping of Jammu and Kashmir's special status. So why has he now been booked under the PSA? Remember, Mr. Abdullah, like many other mainstream Kashmiri leaders, has been detained for the past 40-odd days under more regular provisions of the penal code pertaining to public order. But the government has yet to explain this sudden escalation. The only explanation being cited is that this just comes at a time when the Supreme Court is hearing petitions asking the centre to explain Mr. Abdullah's detention. Now, what makes this all the more galling is the dismissive manner in which Home Minister Amit Shah had brushed aside concerns raised by political parties in Parliament about Mr. Abdullah's detention.
Democratically elected political leaders, including 2 former MPs, 2 former CMs of the state, Omar Abdullah and Mehbooba Mufti, under arrest, and the whereabouts of our own colleague, Dr. Farooq Abdullah, unclear. We still need to know where he is.
फारूक अब्दुल्ला जी अपने घर में हैं, ना हाउस अरेस्ट है, ना डिटेंशन में है, तबीयत भी अच्छी है और मौज मस्ती में है. आप जरा बात करें.
सर, उसने टेलीविजन पे कहा है कि उसे बाहर जाने को इजाजत नहीं दे रहे आप लोग.
मैं रिकॉर्ड पर स्पष्टता करता हूं, वो हाउस अरेस्ट में नहीं है. उनको नहीं आना है तो गन कनपट्टी पर रखकर बाहर नहीं ला सकते हम.
मेरा सीट नंबर 462 है और 461 में माननीय श्री फरूक अब्दुल्ला जी बैठते हैं और उनकी आवाज़ ही आज सुनाई नहीं दे रही है. एक्चुअली आप मुझे पूछे तो ये हमेशा हिस्ट्री में एक अधूरा डिबेट रहेगा.
फारूक अब्दुल्ला जी को ना डिटेन किया गया है, ना अरेस्ट किया गया है, अपनी मर्जी से अपने घर पर है.
उनकी तबीयत ठीक नहीं है, फॉर द रिकॉर्ड.
तबीयत मैं ठीक नहीं कर सकता, डॉक्टर कर सकता है.
All right, joining us tonight, let me start with Vijayta Singh, a journalist with The Hindu. She covers the Home Ministry. She also has travelled to Kashmir after the lockdown. Now, Vijayta, let me just begin by asking you that as of tonight, from what I understand it, we still don't have an official explanation from the Home Ministry or from the government of Jammu and Kashmir as to why they have suddenly decided to put the Public Security Act against Farooq Abdullah.
That's right. We tried speaking to authorities here in Delhi as well as in Srinagar, but all I was told, first of all, the basic journalistic question that arises that if PSA was invoked last night, then under what law was he, why was he detained for all these days? Since August 5, he has not been able to come out of his house. So we were told there was no official order. It was just a vague house arrest, and yesterday they invoked the Public Safety Act. The rules for Public Safety Act, they were changed in 2014 and 15, and for starters, I mean, for initially Mr. Farooq Abdullah, he can be placed in detention for only 12 days. Right. After that, the Home Department of J&K, which has issued this order, they will have to move the J&K advisory board to get the clearance.
Okay. Prashant Bhushan, so, how does this work? How can you just...
We don't have any clarity why was he booked yesterday night?
Right. Prashant Bhushan, how does this work? How can you just invoke the Public Security Act like this without explaining why, on what grounds?
So who do they have to explain to? Unfortunately, the Supreme Court is not asking for any explanations. So they feel secure, the government feels secure in the belief that they can get away with anything. They can get away with any amount of violation of human rights, violation of any law, violation of the Constitution, because nobody is going to question them. In this whole sort of blanket of security, everything will pass muster. I mean, this is worse than the emergency. This is the chief minister who was your alliance partner. It's a former chief minister who was your alliance partner, who you say was free to come out. He was not under arrest or house arrest. He never said anything which gave any rise to suspicion about his being a threat to public safety or public order, etc. The government is saying that everybody in Kashmir is happy, life is normal and so on. And therefore, in these circumstances, to invoke the Public Safety Act against Farooq Abdullah shows that today things are worse than what they were during the emergency, at least in Kashmir.
Right.
It's worse than the emergency.
Okay. Professor Sanjiv Tiwari, a political analyst, supporter of the RSS. Now, you know, perforce you will have to defend this. But really think about it. I mean, if this had been done by the Congress, would you defend it?
See, Srinivasan, the issue is that it's not emergency. In the last almost 50 days, starting from the 4th of the August till today, not even a single bullet is fired in the Kashmir.
No,
you remember, number one. Number
why
two,
is Farooq Abdullah under the Public Security Act?
Why the state is in existence? What is the raison d'etre of the state? The life and the security of the people. And that is the most important target of any of the state. So and that is what the state of Jammu and Kashmir is doing.
Is that the justification for putting Farooq Abdullah under Public Security Act? Are you saying that he poses a threat?
I am really surprised to see.
Is he posing a threat to the people of the state?
Srinivasan, I am really surprised to see that how Prashantji is talking, that it's worse than the emergency. When your journalist, I have given an interview when the Sanket was there in the Srinagar. I was there in the debate.
You're still not answering the question on Farooq Abdullah.
Of course.
You're talking of everything else. I'm not asking you on emergency. I'm simply asking you, how can you defend putting a former chief minister, a current serving MP, the voice of mainstream politics in Jammu and Kashmir under the Public Security Act? On what grounds?
Till yesterday, he was not under the Public Security Act there. Till today only, as far as the journalist of the co-panelist who is sitting here, this is from the Hindu, she told that the Home Ministry has given. But you go in this particular act which came in 1978, it's basically when the threatening the maintenance of the public order is there, then this act could be revoked.
So how is he posing at the age of 83, how is this man posing a threat to the public order? You're still not able to answer that question.
That is what I am saying, Srinivasan, that the situations are grave in Jammu and Kashmir. There is no room of doubt.
Situation is grave. I thought the situation is normal.
Basically,
I thought everything is great. Everything is wonderful. The government is saying there's no problem.
It's becoming wonderful day by day. And the Supreme Court today itself.
It is so wonderful that you actually have had to put a 6-time MP and 3-time Chief Minister under the
PSA. A number of people, they were behind the bar during the emergency. And this is not the emergency. This is not the emergency.
Like even the Ghulam Nabi Azad. And now you're giving the example of the emergency.
Even the Ghulam Nabi Azad is travelling to the Srinagar. He was allowed. Not only that, earlier the Sitaram Yachuri, he was allowed to go to the Srinagar. And not only that, a number of other leaders, they are being allowed. Number one. Number two, when we talk about the Supreme Court judgment today.
I'll come back to you. Tehseen Poonawalla, the fact is that this has come just at the same time when there are petitions in the Supreme Court. So far, these habeas corpus petitions have not been coming, but now they're finally coming. And this is the timing with which they have been put under the PSA, and hence the connection being made.
So to the Hindu reporter, our co-panelist, to tell her, this petition was put last evening, and I say this with absolute responsibility only because Farooq Saab this morning moved to Supreme Court. His petition was before mine. Farooq Saab was heard just before me. So because it was in the media that today he is moving Supreme Court, asking under what law is he being detained, to not having to give that answer to the Supreme Court, this was put yesterday. So A, this is completely illegal. But I want to make two quick points. When I moved, because the first petition was Farooq Saab, second was mine. So when Farooq Saab moves, like Sanjiv Tiwari says, the same Attorney General tells the same Honorable Supreme Court, the same Honorable Bench, look, the situation is grave in Kashmir, you need to understand this. The next petition is mine. The next petition, the same Attorney General tells the same Chief Justice of India, everything is normal. Healthcare, 10,000 operations ho gaye, 10,000. The same Attorney General, with absolute respect to the Honorable Supreme Court, before whose majesty I bow. Okay. Now here is the question. Okay. Farooq Abdullah Saab, like you introduced in 2000, said Masood Azhar should not be released. Ajit Doval Saab was negotiating the release of Masood Azhar. Today Masood Azhar is free. Ajit Doval ji is in Kashmir, and Farooq Abdullah, who a day before being detained met the Prime Minister as a national security threat. Right. I want to end by asking one question. What happened yesterday morning that made Farooq Abdullah a national security threat? Because till yesterday morning he was not.
Prashant,
what happened?
Okay. Prashant, Bhushan, now this question of, now that the cat is out of the bag, that Farooq Abdullah has been detained under the Public Security Act, now do his lawyers, or at least those who are petitioning in his behalf in the Supreme Court, do they have a better chance of challenging this arrest or this detention under the PSA?
Well, I mean, when no reasons are being given for various people, there are 4,000 people in detention. The whole of Kashmir is under an internet shutdown. There is a mobile shutdown. Public transportation is not working. And people can't go to hospitals, etc. And when even there the Supreme Court is not asking the government tough questions, showing no urgency in the matter, then what do you expect in this? I mean, when there was no reason given for his arrest, when we were being told that he is not under arrest, that he is free to move around, even there the government was not being asked anything. I mean, I am not talking about his case, I am talking about the other cases.
Yes.
In habeas corpus petitions,
yes,
the court merely asks the petitioner
yes,
to go and see that person, not do anything else, and then come back.
Right.
I mean, this is not the way to deal with habeas corpus petitions.
Right.
So the government is moving ahead in the secure belief that the court is not going to ask any tough question.
Right.
That the court has kind of closed its eyes to these human rights violations that are going on.
Okay.
This is what we are seeing in the Supreme Court today, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Professor Sanjiv Tiwari, I want to ask you, it's a very interesting thing that is happening in Jammu and Kashmir. I'm going to play you some visuals of a meeting that the BJP is holding in Srinagar, or held recently in Srinagar. This is a meeting of its Panchayat leadership or Panchayat representatives that was held in Srinagar. Okay, these are the pictures. Now, just remember, Professor, that no other political party is allowed to hold meetings like this. People are only being allowed to enter the state under the permission and the monitoring of the state government, and the Supreme Court says you can't do any political activity. You can just go meet your concerned person. You can't even give a statement and come back. The only party that is allowed to hold meetings is the BJP, and this is actually what the BJP leader who's overseeing this meeting, this is what he told NDTV.
See,
I'll just come back to you. We just play that. No, I just am going to play you the sound bite and I'll come back to you.
सारी गतिविधियां जो एक्टिविटीज हैं बीजेपी एक पॉलिटिकल पार्टी कर सकती है, बाकी पार्टीज क्यों नहीं कर सकते? उनके नेता क्यों बंद है?
हमने किसी को रोका नहीं है।
आपने बंद कर दिया उनको, सभी तो
वो
प्रिवेंटिव डिटेंशन में है।
वो अपने कर्मों के कारण बंद हैं, लेकिन उनकी पार्टी सुन तो लो बात। वो पार्टी तो बैन ही है ना, पार्टी बैन है क्या?
लीडर्स जब बंद
फिर ऐसा नहीं होता, वर्कर हैं, अगर उनके दम है तो देखे ना जाके जनता के बीच में जनता क्या उनको देखना चाहती है।
Yes, Professor Tiwari, explain this, justify this if at all it's possible.
What is bad in that? It's fine.
What
if
is
the
bad
other
in that?
political party, if the other
You arrest everybody and just
not
allow
at all,
one side to
not
go
at
and hold
all,
meetings?
because they are opposing the very much what do you call taking away the 370 article,
right?
And that is one thing.
So
and
what?
the other important
No,
issue,
one second.
one
One second. If you are opposing,
they are
are you saying that tomorrow, if the BJP, suppose the BJP is in opposition,
they are provoking,
they oppose a government
decision, they are provocating,
then
instigating. There is chances that they will instigate the other people.
Who is
and
instigating? Who is instigating?
That is what that you see the statement of.
Can you give me one statement of
Yeah,
Farooq Sahab or Omar Abdullah?
I will give
yesterday
you two
that said it.
I will give you two statements.
I will give you
two statements. One statement which was given by the PDP chief that you will find
I don't
nobody.
get PDP. I'm talking Farooq Abdullah yesterday.
Nobody to give his kandha to the Tiranga.
Arey, forget all that. Yesterday what happened, Farooq Sahab, tell me. The proof of the dhoklas and the eating. Tell me what did Farooq say yesterday.
Farooq Sahab, I'm not going in that.
Why?
Why? Today the story is Farooq Sahab. Today the story is Farooq Sahab. Please tell us one statement made by Farooq Abdullah and by Omar Abdullah, which you said is inciting the violence.
Or who has stopped the Punewala to go to the Honorable Supreme Court and take
relief? I am.
You go there.
I am there. I got an order today.
You take the relief. You get the order.
I went there.
It's basically for the safety and security of not only the people of the Jammu and Kashmir, it's also for the safety and security of those leaders who are there. Those leaders who are there.
Security.
And that is why they...
One second. This is is interesting. You are locking up political leaders for their own safety and security.
Of course.
Because the Indian state cannot protect political leaders.
It's protecting them, and that is why the state is giving.
By arresting them.
It's not arresting. They are just detained.
No, sir, they are under arrest. They are under arrest.
Basically, the situation.
Political leader in India, Narendra Modi. Lock him up also. He's the most threatened. He is. Is he not?
Number one. Number two. See the statement of the Honorable Supreme Court today. See the statement of the Honorable Supreme Court today. It's talk about the restoration will be on the selective basis, keeping in mind the national interest. That is the judgment given by the Supreme Court today.
Vijeta, do you see? Now, this is something, Vijeta, which is confusing because, as we're saying, that the government's language is coming in two different threads. And one is that the government is saying that the situation is getting better and therefore they do not need any kind of scrutiny or the intervention of the court. But on the other hand, they're saying it's getting worse and hence using that rhetoric to justify continuing the detentions of a number of political functionaries and even escalating some of these detentions to the Public Security Act. So there seems to be it's either confusion or it's a strategy.
Exactly. So we don't know what their strategy is because. See, we are yet to they are yet to tell us the total number of political activists or politicians who are in detention under what law. Till yesterday, we didn't know what law under what law Dr. Farooq Abdullah was in detention. And last night only PSA was invoked. So there are many vague cases, vague instances where people have been put under house arrest, but there is no written order. Like in the case of say Omar Abdullah and Mehbooba Mufti, there is still an order under 107 CRPC. But in other cases, it's just simply house arrest. I mean, house arrest is as vague as it can get. You can tell people that they are free to move, but when they want to come out, there are security personnel outside their house who will not allow them to venture out. Same the case with Dr. Farooq Abdullah. What happened was after he gave interviews, including to NDTV on August 6, when the Home Minister announced that he was not in detention in Parliament, his entire security paraphernalia, they were suspended for letting the camera persons in. So under what law, under which rule, I mean, there is no clarity. And even if you ask the authorities and the administration to give a number, they have not been able to give any number under the pretext that they have not collected it and it is done at the local level, which is very hard to digest.
Right. So, Prashant, now, I mean, what can happen next? Because you're saying that the conventional routes of remedy, which is you go to the Supreme Court, you try to seek relief, that is not turning out to be possible. So then what next?
Yeah, today, for example, in one case filed by Shanta Sinha regarding the safety of the children, the court said that why don't you go to the High Court? So the petitioner's counsel said that it's very difficult to approach the High Court, to which the court, on which the Chief Justice got angry. And he said, how can that be possible? I'll ask the Chief Justice of the High Court. See, the thing is that if there is an internet shutdown, if there are no mobile phones, how will you communicate with any lawyer there? How will the lawyer, when there is no public transport, how will lawyers come to the court? And that is why actually there was a report which showed that in the High Court most of the cases are being adjourned because the lawyers can't reach or they can't get instructions from the clients, etc. Obviously, that is bound to happen in this kind of situation when there is a complete shutdown in Kashmir. Obviously, the high courts will not be able to, or any court will not be able to function properly there.
Right.
But yet, I mean this. So now what is going to happen is, I don't think that there will be any effective remedy from the courts, etc.
Right.
I suppose the people of Kashmir will have to face the situation as it is.
Right.
I mean, people can move the Supreme Court and people will continue to move the courts, etc.
Right.
But barring these sort of some things like we hope and trust that things will normalize and so on, nothing serious seems to be happening so far as the Supreme Court is concerned. So therefore now we don't know what will happen in Kashmir. The Kashmir situation.
Let's see what happens. Professor Sanjiv Tiwari, I just want to tell you, because you were saying that, you know, these statements that these people are inciting, I just want to read out to you some tweets by Umar Abdullah before he was actually taken under arrest. We'll try and see if we can put them up on the screen. If not, I'll just read them out. That he says, I believe I am being placed under house arrest from midnight and the process has already started for other mainstream leaders. No way of knowing this is true, but if it is, I'll see you on the other side of whatever is in store. Allah save us. Then he says, to the people of Kashmir, we don't know what is in store for us, but I'm a firm believer in whatever Almighty Allah has planned, it is always for the better. We may not see it now, but we must never doubt His ways. Good luck to everyone, stay safe, and above all, please stay calm. In all caps, he has tweeted this. Then he again says, I don't know what's going to happen. It doesn't look good, but please don't take the law into your own hands. Please stay calm. Violence will only play into the hands of those who do not have the best interests of the state in mind. Let calm heads prevail. He's used the word calm 4 times in 4 tweets.
It's very good. It's
so then why is he under arrest?
It's commendable, but the issue
then
is
why
that
is he under arrest?
The issue is that
yes,
it's an emotive issue. Removal of Article 370, repealing the Article 370.
Right.
And there was all apprehension that the people from the different corner, even the people from across the border, you see how unrest.
No, but why? That is Pakistan.
How unrest
but Umar
the leaders
Abdullah
of the
is not Pakistani?
No, he is very much Indian. We are proud of him. Not
then
only
why
him.
is he? Then why is
we
he
are
been
proud of?
Why is
we are proud of his
why
father.
Why is he been arrested for 42 days?
See, the issue is I cannot give the answer on the behalf of the government.
See, that's the thing.
This is the reason. Number one. Number two, when we talk about the restrictions, and see, in 93 police station in the Kashmir Valley, the restrictions are removed.
That's not true.
The landline is already restored, and in the entire Kashmir region.
That is a contradictory answer, because I'll tell you why. If you are saying that, Professor, if it is like that, then why are these political leaders under detention? You can't have it both ways.
Let's just quickly. Sanjiv Tiwari said, and I quote him, it's an emotive issue, Article 370. Yet Ajit Dovalji was negotiating the release of Masood Azhar, said the whole of Kashmir is celebrating. If the whole of Kashmir is celebrating, please don't interfere. If the whole of Kashmir is celebrating, why are leaders in jail? And last point, about the landline, let me give the viewers one data. In Kashmir, the government figures are there are only 1 lakh landlines, a total of 1 crore 25 lakhs. Modi ji says, please go on insurance. Ayushman Bharat is insurance. You have to log on to the insurance to get your healthcare benefits. The government says only 10,000 OPDs have happened or 10,000 operations happen in a state of 1 crore 25 lakhs. Think about this.
The thing is, here's the thing, Professor Sanjiv Tiwari, and this is why the government's explanations are just, you know, what they are. Because you can't say what the reality is, probably what the government suspects, that what they have done is a deeply unpopular move in the Kashmir Valley. And in order to cover that up, you come up with all sorts of explanations. We have cut off the landlines, we have cut off the cell phones because terrorists are using it. We have detained these mainstream leaders for their own protection. I mean, these are justifications we've never heard. So maybe it's time to accept that we have done something which is deeply unpopular. People are not liking it, and therefore we have just shut everything down. But I want to ask you something in conclusion. The logic here is surprising, because the whole idea of scrapping 370 was to say that we want to make Jammu and Kashmir part of the mainstream, right? We want to mainstream it, correct? Then why have you arrested mainstream leaders? See, I can understand if you want to put away separatists or stone pelters. You want to mainstream the valley by putting away mainstream leaders.
See, when we talk about the Jammu and Kashmir, there are three parts. One is the Ladakh, which is quite peaceful.
I'm talking,
and you'll go
I'm
to
talking
that.
of the valley.
And you go to there. No, we are talking about the Jammu and Kashmir.
But you're deflecting.
And number
I'm asking you simple
number
question.
two, there is another part, that is the Jammu region. 10 districts are there, no curfew is there.
Entire mobile is restored. Kargil is in curfew in Ladakh.
My question was, if you want to mainstream the state, why have you put away mainstream leaders? You don't have an answer.
It's the government.
Kargil is in curfew in Ladakh.
No, not at
all.
Kargil is complete. Not at all.
Sir, go to Kargil.
There is no curfew in Kargil and Ladakh.
That's not tonight. That's not tonight's debate. But anyway, we're out of time. We are still waiting for answers, and let's see, perhaps tomorrow is the day in court whether we'll get any or not. But let's not hold our breath. That's all the time we have on Reality Check. Thanks for watching. Good night.